This is the Ordinary Business Podcast for business owners who want honest conversations, a lean business, and an extraordinary life on their own terms. Today, I am breaking down my tech stack for you. It's nothing fancy. I don't think it's all that special. It's very ordinary, if you will. But I wanted to share because one, I always find it interesting just to see what other people are using. How are they running their business? How do they organize things? And I also know as ordinary business owners, we all have limited budgets. And so I thought maybe I could share kind of how I run things, organize things. Maybe it would help you save a little bit of money somewhere or switch to something. I'm not saying these are the best tools for every single person. I'm not saying they're the best tools ever. It's just what I use. And I'm going to share a few ways that I've saved money. So, it's a somewhat lean, I think in my opinion, lean tech stack that keeps me profitable, but also organized and still kind of automates several things for me. So for context, if you're new to me or you're not familiar, I am a web designer and SEO strategist for nutrition and fitness professionals. It is just me. I don't have other designers on my team. I do have an OBM who works about 10 hours a month. I don't need any team collaboration tools or anything like that. I've kind of grouped it in categories so that it hopefully makes a little bit more sense. I am all ears if you are listening and you're like, hey, you should check out this other tool. It's cheaper or does this better or, whatever. I'm all ears. Just tell me if you have something to share. But now let's dive in. So I'm going to start with kind of website and visibility tools, so to speak. So my website is on WordPress and I use rocket.net for my hosting. So that is $41 a month. My hosting used to be free on another host because they had this thing with designers and then I started getting too much traffic. The company was bought out. So they kind of went back on their free hosting deal and were going to make me pay even more than the $41. And so I was like, well, I love y'all, but I guess I'm going to take my business elsewhere if you're going to back out of this. So $41 a month. The next tool, which is my most expensive tool, Ahrefs, which is my SEO keyword research tool that I use for myself and for clients. It is worth it for the insights, for the capabilities. I have tried their lower priced plan. I have tried other SEO tools. This one's my favorite. I'm willing to fork over the $129 a month. And then for design, I have Canva Pro that I really use for just podcast graphics and those kinds of things. And then I used to use Adobe Creative Suite like most designers do. But as a web designer, I'm not using Adobe quite as much as I used to when I did graphic design. So I switched to Affinity and only had to pay a one-time fee. In Canva, I have a Canva Pro account, but I have an ambassador kind of affiliate account, so I don't have to pay for that. So I don't have to pay for Canva and Affinity. It was a one-time, I think it was $160. Moving on, marketing tools that I use. I'm on Kit for my email newsletter. That's $29 a month because I have a super small email list. I have Interact quizzes that I kind of off and on use. I feel like once every other year, I'm like, oh, I have a quiz idea. And then I put it up and then I take it down. And but I have lifetime access to that because, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, they reached out to do a partnership. I think I did a blog post or something, maybe a video as well. And they gave me free lifetime access to their tool. Then I have Cast Magic, which is one of my all-time favorite tools, literally one of my favorite tools. It does transcripts and show notes and content repurposing. So literally I will upload the MP3 file of this episode into Cast Magic, and it will give me podcast episode title ideas, write the full Apple Podcast description. It will give me little blurbs, clips, threads posts, email, LinkedIn post, all this output. It's amazing. It just gives me a bunch of things I can copy and paste as I need. And I have lifetime access. Now, this was not given to me, but I paid a one-time fee. I want to say it was $49, $69, something like that on AppSumo to get lifetime access to this tool. If you're not familiar, AppSumo is kind of a marketplace of newer software that the owners will list their product on there, usually for a short amount of time, or if it's not time-based, it's until they sell X number of licenses or whatever. And it's almost always, I think, a one-time fee. And it's amazing. That's also where I got SocialBee, which is what I use for some of my social media scheduling. I really don't do that much social media scheduling, but SocialBee works where you can input a bunch of different posts into a library, and then it just cycles through them over and over and over again. My library has 500 posts in it because I have done social media with this type of tool for 10 years. I've used a few different ones, and I switched to SocialBee when it was oh, I can do a one-time fee and then not have to pay for this kind of thing every single month. So that was a $49 one-time fee. So you can see Interact, Cast Magic, and SocialBee I don't have to pay for on a month-to-month basis. Moving on to admin and kind of client management, I use Dubsado. I used to be a HoneyBook girly, and I switched this year. So that's $33 a month. I use the heck out of my Dubsado account. I am all about the automations. So I have that. QuickBooks, I hate so much, and they have raised the prices so much. So I pay $100 a month for that. I would love to not pay for that anymore, but it's what my bookkeeper uses. So I just keep using it. I literally only use it for bookkeeping and tax purposes. ClickUp. Now, if you listened to one of my first episodes, you can go back. It's the one called Forget About Asana and Notion. I don't really use a task management tool. I do pay the $5 a month for ClickUp for my OBM. I mean, she has her own account, to be clear. I'm not paying it literally for her. But it's kind of where she puts in the task for me in my account, and I can go in there and add something if I need to. And then she kind of keeps me on track in terms of client projects. We don't get into nitty gritty little things, little tasks in there. It's really big picture. But I do pay for that. Google, I pay for Google Workspace. That's $15, $18 a month. It's I think the prices are going up soon, or they already did. I don't know. I don't keep track of them, but it's somewhere around there. And then TidyCal is something else that I got from AppSumo as well. It's what I use instead of Calendly. I used Calendly for many, many years. Switched to TidyCal because it's a one-time fee. Don't have to pay for it. Moving on to content and I guess clients again. Some of these categories are a little broad. I use Riverside to record and edit my podcast. Love it. Slack is where I communicate with clients. I do not pay for Slack. I just have the free one. I also use Slack for the Summit community, the Ordinary Business community. and didn't pay for it for that either. And then I pay for ChatGPT. That's $20 a month. Use that for lots of different things. Then Google Meet. Now, I already said Google Workspace, so Google Meet is kind of included in that. But I use Google Meet instead of Zoom. I used to pay for Zoom every single month. I did temporarily switch to and try out Butter last year. I also tested out Whereby. I honestly did not love either of those. Now, I did enjoy Butter in terms of the interface, the cute little waiting room that has music, but I found the connection to be very spotty. And I know a lot of people say they have really spotty connection on Google Meet, so I don't know what it is, but Butter was it was too glitchy for me. And I was only on the free plan, even with Butter. Now, obviously, I could have paid, I know, but I was on the free plan. And I mean, you have a 1-hour cap, and just like Zoom, they literally kick you out. And sometimes my client calls, we get a little chatty. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to switch to Google Meet, try this out, see what I think. I've really been fine with Google Meet. So I'm just going to stay there. And then Teachery is what I use to host courses and like summit replays and all those kinds of things. I used to be a Thinkific user. I do enjoy Thinkific. I like them. I've always preferred Thinkific over Teachable, but Teachery had a one-time fee. Are you noticing a trend? I love a one-time fee. And so I switched to Teachery last year. It was a $500 one-time fee, but that is the exact amount that I was spending on Thinkific every single year. And so I found it to be worth it because I am not much of a course girl. I don't really, yes, I have some trainings. I have some courses, like mini courses you can buy. I'm very bad at marketing them, but they are not a big seller in my business. And so I was literally just losing money by paying for Thinkific. So, as you can see, I use AppSumo as much as possible. They have a really good refund policy, so you can always test out a software, try it out, and then go back and be like, yeah, I don't like this. And then they revoke access and refund your money. This is not an AppSumo commercial. It's worth looking into. I wanted to also just quickly mention, there have been times I've paid for other tools, more tools. I've mentioned some alternatives as we've been talking. But I wanted to just mention others like MiniChat. I used to pay for MiniChat. I stopped because I wasn't using it that often. And honestly, people, when I did use it, people weren't commenting. And so I was like, why am I paying for this? I'm going to stop. And if I want to do the comment for whatever, I can manually send it because I'll get like 3 comments and I can just do that myself. I already mentioned Zoom that I used to pay for. Planoly or Plan, both of those back in the day I used to pay for. Not long term, but I tried them out for a few months and then was like, meh. The blue check mark for Meta, I paid for that for probably a solid 2 years. And then honestly, I was like, I mean, yes, I like the protection and the security part of it, but I don't want to give Meta more money. So I stopped paying for it. And then StreamYard is one other tool that I previously have paid for. I used to use it, I think it was last year, to go live on YouTube. And then I did use it temporarily during my summit. There are sometimes tools like that where I will just pay for it for like a month or 2 and then be like, okay, bye. Don't need this anymore. So that is my tech stack. That is how I run my business, all the things I use. I will say I'm very guilty of I don't really audit my tech stack very often. I think last year was one of the first times I purposely sat down and was like, okay, what am I spending each month? what could I spend on less on? Usually it's just I hear someone talking about a tool or I see an ad for it and I'm like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, this could replace XYZ. Oh, is it worth it? Okay." And then I switch or I don't. But I hope this was helpful. I want to encourage you to, find your own version of whatever your sustainable tech stack is. Again, I would love to hear what yours is. If you have a tool to recommend, or something that you are obsessed with, let me know. But yeah, that is all for this episode. I will see y'all next time.